right now, we're going to talk a little D2 college basketball. The 27-3 Walsh Cavaliers nailed it down. They got the number 1 seed in the Midwest Regional Tournament. They will be hosting at home this week. What a great season it's been, and I think we got a lot of great basketball to go. Let's bring in the head basketball coach of the Walsh University Cavaliers. That, of course, is Jeff Young joining us here on 1310 WDPN. JY, congratulations on a tremendous season so far. How does it feel to be hosting, and are you guys ready to roll?
Well, thanks for having me, Sam. I'm a little bit surprised we're hosting. We thought going into our conference tournament, we had to win 1, maybe 2 games just to get into the regional tournament. And 3 or 4 days later, here we are hosting.
That had to be like, if you're ever going to get a surprise this time of the year, that's the kind of surprise you want to get. I mean, not only did you get in, but you get to stay home. Did you think that was even possible going in, or no?
No, I mean, our focus was, again, to win a game or 2 to make sure we get in the region. And then we're thinking, okay, if we get in, we're going to probably Michigan Tech, which is an old conference foe when we were in the in the GLIAC.
Yeah,
And that's a 12-hour haul up there to Michigan, and we were certainly not looking forward to that. But fortunately, they got beat, and things kind of fell in place for us.
Well, I got to admit, Coach, I made a couple of calls over the weekend, and you're at home. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I figured you had something to do with it, Sammy. That makes sense now.
I flexed, Coach. I couldn't put up with it anymore.
It's your old Walsh, the old Walsh ties.
That's right. Swords up, buddy. All times.
That's right.
So let's talk about the weekend. First of all, the fact that you got it done, you made it through all the way. Talk about maybe the performance of your guys, especially in the championship game. And I don't know, along the way, we know some of the familiar names with the program. Did you have a lot of unsung heroes maybe step up here for you the last couple of weeks to get this thing where it's at?
Well, to be honest with you, Sam, it's been pretty consistent throughout the whole year. I mean, we're playing a different style than we have in the past. We're pressing more. We're 5 in, 5 out. And, a lot of times our leading scorer has 12 or 13 points. There's an occasional, like Kobe got it going in the semifinals. He made some threes and had 25. But, that happens from time to time. But I think the nice part, or the interesting part, is that, it's kind of been shared, at least the scoring has, throughout the whole season.
So if you could maybe, Coach, take us through the I don't want to say philosophical changes, but I guess I will, just to use that. But, sometimes, you've coached a certain way for a long time, and you always try to do that predicated on the talent that you have. But what goes into saying, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna go in a little different direction? What all goes into that?
Well, it definitely took me out of my comfort zone a little bit. But, I looked at some teams that were doing very well, and Nova Southeastern is the biggest example. Coach Crutchfield was at West Lib prior to that, and just won a ton of games. And at West Lib, I think he made it to a couple national championships and several Final Fours. And then he moves down to Florida, and I think he's been there 5 or 6 years and has won 2 national championships. And then some of his coaches have kind of branched off and kept that style and have done very well. So, I took a look at it, and I thought we had some pretty good personnel that would fit into that. And it just kind of took off. And, I wasn't sure early on how well it was going to work, but here we are, 27-3. And I think the guys enjoy it. I get to play more guys, and the fans certainly have taken a liking to it. And, we're up and down and creating, havoc and turnovers, and it's a fun brand of basketball.
Hey, you can't go wrong with that. Fun basketball. People come out, they get excited. The kids get excited, and hey, if you're winning, it makes it even much more sweeter. We're talking with Jeff Young, outstanding head basketball coach at Walsh University. The Cavaliers are hosting this weekend, the 1 seed against the 8 seed William Jewell, their first matchup. But some of the other matchups in that 8, you've got Rockhurst the 4, Northern Michigan the 5, Grand Valley State the 2, Ashland the 7. You know a lot about them. Michigan Tech, which you mentioned, the 3 seed against Lake Erie Storm at number 6. That's a pretty competitive 8 right there, isn't it?
No, it is. I mean, our guys, were asking a little bit about our opponent, and I told them at this point in time, I mean, even our conference tournament, I mean, it's going to be competitive. You got to play well if you expect to win. And William Joel, we kind of go way back from our NAIA days. Every time we went to the
Oh my
national
goodness, right?
tournament, yeah, they were out there all the time, and they had a legendary coach that I believe won 800 or 900 games. He has since retired, but there's a little history we know about them. They're an older team this year. Got some veteran guys that have been there 4 or 5 years. So we're looking for the matchup. It should be a good ball game.
So, how do you, this deep into the season, you kind of hit the reset button here a little bit. How do you prepare? How do you get ready for the big tournament coming up?
Well, I told the guys we're not going to really change anything. Basically, we just came out of a 3-game tournament that was
Mm,
at our place, and we have the same scenario again this coming week. So we're staying to our routine. This late in the year, we're not doing a whole lot, even though we got after it a little bit today just to make sure we have our legs. And, we'll kind of tone it down the next couple of days and just kind of make sure that we're healthy and we're ready to go.
Coach, the D2 I know the D3 tournament has made some changes over the years. The D1, not much. There could be big changes coming here down the road. What about at the D2 level? Is it stayed pretty true to the number of teams that get in and how things work that way?
I think so. It's certainly a national tournament of 64 teams, but it's more likely to be like a regional tournament,
Mhm.
just for logistic purposes and travel and things of that nature. So, there's 8 regions across the country, 8 teams will play. So we're one of 8 home sites. The winners come out and then move on to Pittsburgh for the Elite Eight. And then nice thing they've done at the D2 level, they tie the national championship game into the NCAA Division I
Right.
weekend. So, that'll be pretty neat if you make it that far.
There's I think this year, Coach, were they not going to go? It was going to be D1, D2, D3. I think they were trying to get everybody in Indianapolis in some shape or form for that whole weekend. Because I know the D3, there's like a 2-week layoff in between the regionals and the Final Four. So that's pretty cool. Especially some of the facilities you might all be able to play in. That's pretty cool thing to look forward to.
No doubt. I think it's a great idea. And you're going to have already a ton of people in town looking for some type of basketball
Hmm.
activity to attend anyway. And I think it makes it special for D3 and D2 to be a part of that. Before you just kind of go to, a regional site and play your championship game and you look in the crowd and, sometimes you might only have 500 or 1,000 people there. So this kind of changes it and it certainly makes it a lot more special for the players.
Jeff Young is our guest, head coach, Walsh Cavaliers. They are hosting this weekend at Walsh University. If you want to go see some high quality basketball, the Cicchini Center is the place to be. The big tournament coming up this weekend. Coach, when do you all get rolling? What's your first game day and what time do you hit the floor?
Well, we Saturday's the first day of competition.
Okay,
We play the third game, so it goes noon, 2:35, and 7:30, and one ticket gets you into all 4 games.
nice.
So, if you're a basketball fan, and you'll be surprised by the level of play if you stop by and watch a couple games, and you won't be disappointed. I'm familiar with most of these teams. They're all high level, very well coached, and I've always said we you come across good D2 teams, a lot of times they can beat some of the lower level D1 teams. And I say the same thing about D3 teams. Coach Fueline's team over there in Alliance, when they're good, they can beat a lot of D2 teams as well. So come out and watch some basketball, and again, you won't be disappointed.
No doubt. All right. Let's talk about some of the young men on your team that have been getting it done. You have a nice local flavor. You got some other guys that are on your roster that are paying big dividends for you. But let's talk about the Cavaliers starting five, and we'll work our way through.
Yeah, well, starting with my seniors, obviously Zach Odo has been a 4-year starter, a local kid from Green High School. And then his partner is Kobe Mitchell, who is a 3-year starter for us. Kobe actually, we recruited him hard out of high school from Harrison Central, but ended up going to Akron U before transferring back to us. But they've been our leaders all year long, and they've done such a good job of kind of deferring a little bit. Their point numbers are down, but they don't care. They just want to win, and you don't get that a lot from kids today, and that's probably what's been so impressive about those two.
Um, Zach Odo I can't believe he's a senior already. That just blows my mind. Um, at the D2 level, we've had some kind of side off conversations during some of the high school games. You've popped up and been watching some kids play and everything. Um, Even at this point in the year, and you're getting ready for this tournament, and you've played an incredible regular season, you're practicing, they're hitting the weights, you're doing all this stuff, and you still got to kind of keep your eye on, hey, what's coming up around the corner for next year as far as your roster and things like that. You've been able to kind of navigate that pretty well.
Well, Sam, I don't like to think about it, but it's always in the back of my mind because it's coming.
Right.
Um, and you look forward to this time of the year, but at the same time, sometimes I lose sleep because I'm trying to figure out who's coming and who's going. And you think you could be pretty good, and that day's going to come, and you're going to go in the office, and all of a sudden your roster might be depleted. So I think it's unfortunate with college basketball the way it's kind of it's trending, but it's not changing. So you kind of have to deal with it and figure it out.
When you guys got to cut the nets down a while ago, you got that national championship, and here we come full circle, and you're going to make another run, hopefully, to get there and get another one. Besides the NIL stuff and the transfer and all that other stuff, how is the NIAA / Division II basketball, how has it changed and moved in your minds over the decades?
Well, with the things you mentioned, that's obviously the biggest changes. But to be honest with you, Sam, the kids really don't change. Kids are kids. They're trying to figure things out. I think they probably have more on their plates than they did, 15 or 20 years ago, or when you and I were coming through. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to do other than go to the gym and work on your game a little bit. And these guys are getting pulled from a number of different directions. But at the end of the day, it's still basketball. It's athletics. The kids that love to compete and love what they're doing. It doesn't feel any different to me than it did 20 years ago.
One more thing before we let you go, and obviously you have had a tremendous career as a head coach, and you've always had a really, really good staff. Give you a minute or two to shout those guys out and what they bring to the program and how helpful they are to you.
Well, there's no doubt. I've had very good players. That's been the biggest part of our success. But besides that, my staff's been unbelievable. My first assistant now is just won the Mountain West out there at Utah State for the first time in I don't know how many years. He's on the top of everybody's list. Jared Calhoun. I'm not sure
Mm.
where he's going to end up, but he's going to go from making I don't know, 15 or $20,000 at Walsh to probably a $3 million contract next year. Kyle Getter won a national championship at Virginia. He was one of my assistants, and I have one of the best in the country in Jeremy Chardot. He played for me and was a heck of a player. I always tell people we used to play Ohio State, and Thad Matta told me he could have played at Ohio State without question. And as good of a player as he was, he's even a better assistant. I kind of turned a lot of things over to Jeremy as I'm getting older, and he's kind of run with it and does an unbelievable job. And I tell him, he probably need to get the heck out of here and go get your own job. And I could see him being a Division I coach for sure down the road.
Well, you got a great staff assembled there. Obviously, the kids are great, and you do a pretty good job too, I may add. Coach, I always appreciate you catching up with us. Again, if folks want to see some great hoops, they want to root the Cavaliers on over at the Cicchini Center on the campus of Walsh University. It begins this Saturday at noon. We wish you all the best, and let's go get another one this weekend, and we can catch up next week. All right?
That sounds good, Samuel. I look forward to it. Appreciate you.
Got it, man. Thank you. There goes Jeff Young, head basketball coach of the Walsh University Cavaliers.